Feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hello and welcome to the video wrap-up show for the Shrimp Tank podcast in Seattle. I'm Dan Weedin and I'm joined by my co-host, Linda Popky. Linda and I had a fascinating and I think a really timely and important conversation today with our guest, Robbie Samuels. To catch the entire episode, and I promise you should, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find all of our episodes on our website at shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle.
So, Robbie, you spent a lot of time telling us about virtual events and how you were able to transition from being the in-person event expert to the virtual expert, et cetera. And definitely, I recommend everybody listen to the entire podcast to get all of that. But here we are 3.5 years after the start of the pandemic. Where are we? Are we, virtual events? Is it going to be in-person events, hybrid events? What do you look in your crystal ball and what do you see the future holding for those of us who are either attending events or planning them?
Well, ask yourself how likely you are to want to leave your house and travel somewhere. So that I know also we're a little tired of bad Zoom. So if you can't find quality ways to connect virtually, you're probably saying, oh, we should get back together in person. But in a lot of places, the number of people signing up for those in-person events is actually dropping. Some people have had to adjust their multi-day event to a one-day event because there just wasn't enough people to make that worthwhile. Now, on the other hand, I think that when we do get people to come to our in-person events, we have to just nail it. We have to get it, just create this incredible inviting, welcoming, invigorating, engaging experience that makes the travel part, the trip, the expenses all worth it. And I am a no on hybrid unless you have an enormous budget like Tony Robbins style, or it's very, very small, less than a dozen people. But those in betweens, it's just too difficult. There's two audiences. I prefer we have a big main event that's in person and a few, 2 or 3 like virtual events leading up to that your entire membership or your whole team can come to, and then a smaller select more intentional community of people come together in person. Maybe there's a virtual follow-up as well. So I prefer us use both virtual and in person, but use them sort of in tandem as opposed to as a hybrid, simultaneously trying to meet the needs of both audiences.
So Robbie, during the show today, you had an answer that so much stopped me in my tracks. I almost forgot what my question was going to be, which doesn't happen all the time. So everybody got to listen to the whole show. You're talking about online course creation because you're a networking guru as well. And you're talking about the use of video and online courses. And you said something, because I'm working on doing this. You said something that caught my attention. You said you really need to have a wait list. Before you send out something that is going to be purchased by people, you need to find a way to create a wait list so that then you're ready to go with that paid product. Can you expand on that and say what you said?
So a lot of times, clients that I've worked with, we didn't even talk about the fact that I'm also a business growth strategy coach. But a lot of times I have clients who, when I ask them to audit what they're spending their money on, they discover they're spending an annual expense for 2 Thinkific accounts. And I said, how much money have you made from online courses? Oh, I don't have an online course. I was just thinking about one. Or I paid someone $5,000 to make these videos, but then we never figured out how to sell this. And I'm like, oh, facepalm, So what I'm suggesting is, before you spend a lot of money to sell something, build the audience first. And start by really piloting and identify likely prospects and referral partners within your existing network. Do research calls, figure out exactly what they need, the problems they know they have, they're willing to admit, the words they use to describe those problems, design something, come back to a few of those people and say, hey, I created something based on your input. What do you think? Get those people to opt into a pilot. Notice that I have not blasted it out to anyone. I'm not paying for Facebook ads. I haven't paid for Thinkific or Teachable or any of those places. You run it live. You do a live cohort. You might run a pilot twice. You might do an initial pilot, and maybe you'll do an expanded version. You do 5 sessions in 5 weeks, maybe do 6 sessions over 12 weeks, and you have some homework in between. There will probably reach a point where having some asynchronous learning makes sense, and you want to record some content. The way I did that is I recorded content for social, and then I repurposed that content and put it in an online platform. I use podia.com. And I then said to my, live cohort before the first session, go watch this particular section of videos. So you come into that first session ready to dig into the conversation. And that way you're taking advantage of the in-person time is highly valuable because you're having discussions and role plays and Q&A, et cetera. And it's a little bit more of a mastermind. If it's completely asynchronous that you're aiming for, you really, really, really want to understand the needs of your audience before you go and spend time creating video, which, by the way, does not have to be expensive video. It could just be, your iPhone. It just be thoughtfully done and good lighting, good sound, and all of that. But yeah, I think too often I myself had a Thinkific account in 2015. I didn't have actual courses on it. It's like, well, we're spending money. And I'm really interested in a new thing right now called maven.com, where they focus on live cohorts only. No asynchronous online courses. It's all, you can advertise. They have certain criteria for how you're able to advertise on their platform. But once you're able to, your thing will be listed, and you only pay a fee for seats that are sold, as opposed to paying a fee for having access to their site. And they give you tons of support to get on there. So I've been investigating that to move my program onto that platform. But I think too often we spend money as if that's the purpose of having a business. We forget that a business is about people buying things from us. A successful business is one where we can see where the money is coming from.
That is a great point. And if you enjoyed this, you need to watch and listen to the entire podcast, because Robbie makes a lot of great points about networking, about events, all kinds of great things. So Robbie, thank you so much for being a guest here on the Shrimp Tank. For our listeners and viewers that want to get in touch with you or learn more about you, your company, your business, about your books and your programs, where do they get more information?
Everything's at robbiesamuels.com, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. And after you do that, make sure you check out all the replays on shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle, and wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's iHeart, Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, because damn, we are
ubiquitous.
And then follow us on our show's social media pages on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Well, Robbie, thank you very much. That was a great show, and I loved what you just said here. You said a lot of other wonderful things. Everybody should listen to the whole thing. Linda, thank you as always. And look, everyone, if you enjoyed this video, click like and subscribe below. Also, check out our patron membership page that's filled with exclusive content to help you grow your business and enrich your life. Go to patreon.com/shrimptankseattle. And if you like us on Facebook, you can live stream us every week, every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on that Facebook page. Our next show will be on August 16th. Hope to see you then. Until we meet again, be safe, be well, and be prosperous. Because for right now, the shrimp is back in the tank. So long.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond.